Vamos.
¿Qué hora es?
Oh, where's mine? Oh.
Mhm.
Gracias.
Oh, for real? And then this time I don't have any water.
Wait. Oh, I keep forgetting that. That's the pre.
Yeah. I always need water while I'm talking. So.
Oh, I was like, what? Is there tea in there?
Normally there's tea.
Oh,
Today
we don't
we're
have
not,
no tea?
We're shamming it off today. I'm saying that on my live, right? That's crazy.
I can't even see what I look like.
Oh, that's what you want? It would
I
have
like
been
to
the
see.
countdown anyway. Me too, but. Whew. Coach Seclenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Facebook. I should have gone live on Instagram.
You live right now?
Yeah, on Facebook.
Oh.
15 seconds left. How do I look? Cool.
Good.
Thank you. I like your hair.
Thank you.
You switch it up. I was looking at your live. I was like, ooh.
It was curled.
Hi, and we're back for another session of Tea Time with Mel and Britt. Today we have a lovely guest speaker with us, Miss Coach Seclenda.
Hey, everybody.
She's a life coach, and we're here today to talk about gratitude in the month of November. So first we want to give shout outs to Mel, who is not here with us. And we want to say that we love you, we miss you, and you're a great addition to, what we do here with Tea Time. Your absence is surely felt.
We miss you, Mel.
Yes, we do. And so today, as we start, I just want to say thanks to all our supporters who have been watching and keeping us up with us every week as we go live for Tea Time. We're here at the Westside Incubator at Nevada Partners. And you're welcome to join our live audience. We do have an in-house audience, and we also appreciate you joining us online as well on the Nevada Partners Facebook page and also on Entrepreneur News Network on YouTube. Right. So thank you for being with us. So Miss Seclenda, yes. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me today. I'm super excited. I finally got an invite.
Don't make you sound like that. We've been waiting for you to be here. She's always here with us every week as a part of our live audience. And now I love to have you here with us on the seat,
Thank you.
So the hot topics.
Hot topics. I love the hot topics.
Someone said that what are we talking about? I'm like, there's so much to talk about.
All the time.
We can't be silent. We can't be silent. So today as we talk about gratitude, yes. I know that you've experienced a lot during your time as a coach and also your personal life.
Yes.
Coming out of a lot of trials and overcoming them, right? Because you're still here. We're still here.
Yes.
What are you most grateful for after reflecting on your journey?
After reflecting on my journey, what I'm most grateful for, I'm going to go down to just a quick root of it is my grandmother. Okay. My great grandmother who raised me taught me so many things. She was born in 1915. She's from New Orleans, and she's just super old school. I feel blessed being able to get that type of mentality, that type of outlook on life, the things that she learned, and just everything that she just embodied. She did everything for us. And I was able to just pick her brain and learn from her. Mm-hmm. I'm most definitely grateful that I had a chance to just experience her. A lot of people don't even experience their grandparents at all. So I am really blessed to have her or had her in my life.
That's truly special. I mean, I am blessed to say that I had my grandma for a couple many years. Mm-hmm. She passed when I was already an adult, and so I've had the good times and the bad times, and but she was the type of person, like you said, your grandma did everything for you guys.
Yes.
My grandmother would not allow us in the kitchen. We could do, she would
Mm.
teach us to do everything else, clean the house,
Uh-huh.
do the yard, whatever, but not the
Not
kitchen.
the kitchen. My grandmother made us come in the kitchen. Say, you want to learn how to make this pot? You have to come and watch me.
But it's just crazy that while she didn't allow us to be in there with
Yeah.
her, we still learn. Like,
Yeah.
I'm I can only say that it's because of her that I know
Mm-hmm.
how to cook. My mom knows how to cook, but she's not fond of the kitchen. So
Yeah.
I really adapted that fun or lightness of the kitchen from my
From
grandmother.
grandmothers. Shout
Yes.
out to the grandmas.
Yeah. She was the type who set the table, ironed the shirts and the pants, and hang them up in the closet. Girl,
Yes.
I couldn't
Oh,
touch
nothing.
nothing that
She
she
had it
did.
under control.
Woo,
They did it all.
times change.
Yeah.
You know.
How many kids did she have?
I think it was 7.
Mine
I'm not
too.
sure.
7. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then my grandmother's parents had 11. And back then there was just multiple children all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you you just learn so many things that the stories that she used to tell me was as there was 11 of them, each child took care of the one underneath. They took care of the one underneath. And what I tell my nieces that I'm raising, I'm just like, that little bit that you're doing is nothing compared to what not only what I had to do, but what our grandparents had to do. They did so much in life
Yes.
that it's like, how can you compare? My grandmother used to tell me when her going to school, they went through the river with no shoes in the winter, freezing cold water, did the horses, killed the chickens, and these are little kids. So how can we complain sometimes?
Right, right. That's so true. I
Yeah,
think that they carried the weight of it to get us where we are today. They
absolutely.
set the foundation,
Yes.
and so I'm really grateful for that too. Because
Yeah.
I grew up in an extended family setting,
Mm-hmm.
and so my grandfather was like the head of the household with my grandmother, and then all of us lived. And so I my grandparents were simple people in terms of not too much glamour, not too
Mm-hmm.
much, but they did had their standards of how they did things and how they kept themselves and stuff like that.
Right.
My grandfather was the pastor of our church, and so he taught us a lot about in simple ways. Like, now looking back, I could see the essence of what he was teaching.
Yes.
Because back then I was like, why
We don't really pay attention.
right, I wasn't looking at the underneath, the
Right.
underlying. And so now that I'm an adult, that's the part that I really
Appreciate.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the lessons, the entrepreneurship spirit that my grandfather had. He
Yes.
never gave up
Mm-hmm.
up until his last day. He taught us that if we want more, we have to give more.
Yeah.
We can't want more and do less.
Correct.
So those lessons were the ones that really stuck out.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would say, like from a bad experience or negative perspective, things that you would look on negatively that taught you a good lesson about gratitude?
Where's the book? Give me a pen, give me a pencil, give me a piece of paper. I could just write down a lot of them. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Maybe if I could pick one. I would have to say, I think it goes back to relationships that were always, in a negative light, so to speak, that I've learned many lessons from. The one that stands out is my first marriage. I was 22 years old when I got married. And even though that it was a toxic relationship, it was very unhealthy, I've learned so much just from that situation. How to get out, for one.
Yeah.
That you can get out, and how to rebuild yourself. I was just talking about this yesterday with somebody. How the journey of rebuilding yourself after a situation like that. And it takes time. It takes support. It takes healing. It takes a lot of learning. Your journey from leaving the toxic relationship, rebuilding, and becoming the woman that you want to be in the future, is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it does not feel that way or look that way when you first get into the
At all.
realization that, hey, this relationship is shipping off, it's
Yeah.
sailing away.
Yeah.
It's not a beautiful feeling, or it's not a beautiful thing to look at, but it's the after. It's after you go through all of that. It's after
After the
you.
after.
Right.
Not
And
even the after, like a couple of afters. Then you like, okay, I got this.
and then you still have to remind yourself,
Oh,
after, like
yes.
that was for a purpose.
Absolutely.
To not carry that feeling of regret and
Yes.
disappointment
Yeah.
and all the negatives that comes with it. So
Yeah.
I get that. I understand what you're saying about the learning, the
Yeah.
positives through the negatives.
Everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
I know a lot of us don't want those things to be the happening things for us to
Mhm.
learn, but I'm able to share that story and help
Right.
somebody else as well who has been in toxic relationships, domestic violent relationships, who don't have the confidence to get out, who don't know how to get out, to feel like this is something that they have to be in because of their children or the love, the marriage, and
Right.
everything that binds them together. And it's not true, or this is what they've seen
Right,
previously
right.
in
Because a
their
lot of that,
family. Yeah.
yeah, they
It's
want to stick
normal.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
It's comfortable.
And the thing is that a lot of us, when we just want to cling on because it feels safe.
Safe.
We don't want to go through the emotional trauma,
Mm-hmm.
but going through it, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
When you're done and when you're over the hump, it creates a new person in you. You
Mm-hmm.
find, because of the hurt that you feel, you end up finding your strength, and you end up finding you.
Yes.
What you like. You stop focusing on somebody else. Let that person leave. Let them go. Let them make a decision for themselves. And then you make a decision for yourself, or you make that decision first.
Yeah. Yes.
Be the one to say, hey, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And it will hurt. And I will break down. I will cry.
I cried.
But I'll go down and I'll brush myself off and I'll get up back again.
Yeah.
And
those are the ones who don't really, obviously when you're in a toxic relationship, that means you do not know what love really is.
Right.
You have to learn what love really is.
Yes.
And what a healthy relationship is really about. Or you're going to go into another relationship and it's going to repeat itself over and over again. And I did that too.
Yes.
I had to realize and wake up that it's a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's something that's deep down inside. You have to go to the root. You have to find out why, people are like, how are these people choosing me? But are you choosing them?
Right.
And why are you choosing them? Why does it feel safe? Why does the uncomfortable, because these relationships, they seem comfortable, but they're really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you like the uncomfortable, comfortable
Right.
feeling?
Right.
So get down to the root of the feelings that you're feeling in these situationships, is what I call them.
Mm-hmm.
Learn what it is and how you can get out.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Create your aim and find your purpose and go with it. I used to say I'd rather cry for a month than to cry for the rest of my life. Every day waking up not being happy, not being appreciated for who I am, not knowing who I am. Because we allow people to treat us how they want to because we don't know ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we find ourselves and learn to love me, then I'll know how you're supposed to love me.
Yes.
And then when you come to me the wrong way, then I'll be like, step sideways, because you're not coming to me right. So we have to develop us first. I was talking to someone who was going through relationship challenges, and they were like, I feel so lost because I lost myself in that person. I said, that's why you needed to lose that person.
Yeah.
Because no one should be second best to somebody else.
Consume you so much.
Right.
Where you forget you.
Be you first and then love that person. And if you don't know how to love yourself, you're not going to love the next person in the right way.
Right.
You're not going to know how to receive the right kind of love. And you're going to take the wrong kind, like that's the type that I deserve. And no.
I think, again, going back to our grandparents, they've been together for years. You see, back then, grandparents were together for a very long time. I think we hold on to that of trying to stay in a relationship for so many years, even through, like, oh, this too shall pass. We're gonna stick together for our family and our children. And we're so caught up in this, let's keep it together, let's stay together. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. It's not good for you. You're showing your children what it is to be accepting things like this in a relationship. Your daughters are watching you. Your sons are looking at you. How are you treating a woman? How are you accepting a man to treat you? And the times that we live in right now in society, there's so many gender fluid and different things that are happening at this moment. It comes in so many different forms that I meet as well, is because they watch toxic relationships that they don't even want to experience that anymore.
Right.
You're looking at your father as an example that didn't show the right example, and now you're steering away from that. It's not a good look. It doesn't taste good anymore of being in a relationship. And now you're in this toxic relationship for however many years, thinking that this is just what it should be. Let me just hold on a little bit longer. And then you turn around and it's been 15 years, 20 years. What I've been seeing now is people who have been together in this toxic relationship for over 20 years are now finally freeing themselves.
Right.
But look how long it's been.
Tell me about it. It was 19 years for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like I listened to I say for me it was an excuse. Staying because of the children. I stayed because I wanted to.
Yes.
I stayed because I knew that the help was there. Let's be real. If I had stepped out on my own from then, I would have been taking care of 3 kids on my own from then.
Step out on faith.
Right. But then that's what I ended up doing. It took that long. I was like, man, I should have done this before. But timing is everything, and God's time is not our time. So we do have to surrender to the Most High and go along with the timing. And for me, it was an excuse. For somebody else, it might be not an excuse, but their reality.
Well, you said it correctly. They stay together for the children, all the things, but that's really not the case. It is because you want to. You have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
People are not honest with themselves. Look in the mirror and be like, I'm not confident enough to leave this relationship.
I was like, Lord, you got to do it for me. If it's left to me, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to leave. I was not. I was going to stay there. And so
I prayed my way out too. If you stay in these relationships and think that you can get out on your own mental, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when I was just talking about this too, making decisions from flesh, making decisions from a spiritual point of view. When you're making decisions to stay in these relationships through flesh, you're staying.
For sure.
Because your whole soul is telling you, this is not it. You got to get out. This is not going to work. It's not going to work in 2 years. It's not going to work in 5 years. And this, especially us as women, we have this intuition. This is not going to end well. And what do we say? Okay, just let me try. Just let me cook a little different. Let me clean a little bit. Let me do my hair. Maybe he'll notice. Let me color it. Let me, and the men too. They're in toxic, abusive relationships as well.
That's true.
But it goes both ways.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. And the thing is that we're more vocal about it. They're really more silent.
Yes.
So I've watched a lot of thing that it says that men and women, it goes both ways. Like domestic violence, sometimes it's not just one person being the aggressor, but sometimes it's both persons at different times.
Absolutely.
And I think that was the case for me. I was more the aggressor. I'll admit, I'll take, yes, Lord,
accountability.
I've come to that place. I was more the aggressor, and it doesn't make sense, because being the aggressor, I could only speak for myself. I don't know what others feel when they're aggressing, or trying to be the more dominant one. But I feel like the emotional pain was coming and I was returning it physically.
Correct.
And in that, I was still hoping that when you get these hits, you're going to take it like, I want you to change. But that's
Yes.
not the message that we're sending
Yeah.
when we're being aggressive. That's real. It's really not received as that. So it don't bring the change that we want to see, but it does make a change. It made a change in me for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't more positive. I was way more negative
Yeah.
to me, towards myself, towards my whole situation. So then you know, it just goes from one thing to the next. You start this way and then it creates a monster.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt that I was. And I
Yeah.
had to escape, not because of me, not because of just the relationship, but because of who I was becoming.
Mm-hmm.
I really lost myself. And so for me, when I'm encouraging others, whether it's family, friends, or acquaintance, people who I meet, my stance is you gotta love you first. It don't
Yeah.
matter who that next person is. And the what are you teaching the kids? I go back to what you said, because the other day I looked at my daughter because they're like, "Oh, Brittney, why do you act this way?" Back then when I used to behave based on my emotions, they were like, your kids are seeing this and they're traumatized and da 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 da. And I was like, okay, I know that I have to curb my behavior. I know
Mm-hmm.
that I have to do better, but I'm not going to settle. So I'm going to do better for me.
Yeah.
So, and that was where my decision changed. Instead of fighting for him to stay, instead of fighting for him to give me attention, I started to fight for me. What is my purpose? What do I want in this life? And God, I'm not stopping until I get it from you.
So you said two things that I want to hit on: fighting for his attention, and you were the aggressor, or just the fact that you're taking accountability for the actions in your relationship during the domestic violence, as we'll say. I call that a form of communication.
Mm-hmm.
You were communicating what you wanted
Mm-hmm.
was attention in that way. When you're using your hands in that manner, imagine when a child wants a toy from another child and they hit them.
Mm-hmm.
They want that toy. That's their form of communication, that they
Mm-hmm.
want the toy, instead of verbally asking or saying, I want
I
this
want this
toy.
toy.
I want your attention. I need your love.
Yes.
I need to be appreciated. So your form of communication. So people need to learn how to communicate in the proper way. You got to learn how to communicate
And be honest.
Be honest.
Because a lot of times we say things, but it's not what we really feel.
Correct.
We're just saying what we want to say.
Yes.
So we got to dig deep and find a way to communicate how we really feel in the way that it will be received. Well, we can dictate how it will be received, but we got to do our best to communicate it clearly.
Yes.
And
then you're taking accountability of how they're receiving it.
Right.
Everyone's communication style is different.
Right.
Which is, I love this book. I read it in my first marriage. It's called The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
And knowing your style of your love language and knowing the style of your partner's love language and trying to see if there's a balance and then communicate that and what can we do to move forward. I'm a big astrologist. I know a lot of people don't believe in it, but I think it's also a piece of your love language is your astrology makeup, your genetics, your background, how were you raised. All that makeup is a person. It is your human being, and taking that into consideration before you start dating somebody. See, we're not learning the person first.
Right.
As long as we should before we get into this marriage. How long did you know your husband?
Well,
or ex-husband then?
Ex-husband. We grew up in the same community. It was a small community, but I think it's not just about knowing the other person because people change, but knowing myself.
But in the beginning, before you got married, how long did you know him?
We grew up together. Like, I mean, it wasn't like close, but we knew each other for years. I saw him around and stuff like that for years. So, but we weren't friends or anything. We started talking and then that started dating, after a while. So it wasn't a long time.
Yeah.
Getting to know, like getting to
to know
know.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't a long time before the dating start.
Because you said the thing, people change, and that is a thing. People change, and it takes so long to where their mask or anybody's mask really comes off, where you see exactly who it is that you're dealing with.
And your own self, because I was too young to even like, not to say that when you're young you can't know yourself, but inexperienced and age and 18, we were like 16 I believe when we got together.
Mm-hmm.
And so
But you really don't know yourself
don't
when you're
know, I
young.
didn't even get the
We
time
think,
to.
I mean, really look back and be like, as older women looking at our younger selves, you don't really know who you are.
If I could have told her, I would have been like, girl, listen to your mom and wait, because
Yes.
this ain't no joker
Tell
here,
them now.
listen to your mom. Wait.
Listen to somebody. Listen to us.
Right.
We're telling you to wait.
Right. We're telling you. Don't be rushing.
There's no rush.
Right.
I
And if
tell
you're
my girls
going
all the
through a
time.
heartbreak, know that it's for a purpose.
Yes.
It's either to elevate you or to plant you. So figure it out.
I seen a young girl. I went shopping yesterday in the store, and she was doing her little thing, but she was crying, and she was listening to her earpiece. She was talking to her significant other, obviously, because they were going through the relationship. I'm like, baby girl, you are too young to be crying in this situation.
And if you don't have any kids yet,
yes,
it's time to fix it before you're.
Don't waste. There's so much more to life than that, and I get it. We all done it,
Yeah.
but if we can just tell them at that point in time, and sometimes I learn like, well, who could have told me anything? And
I know, right? Because they did tell me.
Yeah.
They did. They said it over and over. Did I listen?
Yes.
Did I listen? No.
And it's the thing that I wish that more generations will look at. It repeats itself. Nothing really changes. If their grandparents told our parents the same thing, our parents told us this, and then now we're telling the younger generation. It has to be true.
It has to be true. But what can we do different?
What could we do different?
So that the message could be received? Because it's just like, I guess, cycle of life, because they
I think
see
it's the
it
love.
and they know it. We not only tell them, I wasn't only told, I saw it happening. I knew what would happen. But we give it chances.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what else did we see in our role models of adults in their relationships. There's things that we forget to really key in on, is how our parents handle their relationships. And what do we see with that as an example and a role model?
Yeah, I believe so too.
Yes.
And that's why now, like, I pray and I ask the Lord to help me with healing from the past, and also to set a different course for myself in terms of relationship and how I communicate and how I deal with things, how I react.
Yeah.
My response is, whew, that's the key. I mean, that's one of the hardest things to change, because most times my response come in the moment. Like, I don't take that 2 seconds to like
impulse control,
right, and put it into order.
Yes.
So that takes a lot of training. That takes a lot of failure and a lot of, okay, resetting my mind and try again. But how can I be prepared?
I think because we try to learn on our own, it takes a longer time when we're trying to learn these skills off of our own mental. And I feel like you can't really learn the skills if you never had the skills to begin with. So you have to get some type of outsourced information, whether it's reading a book or watching videos or watching things like this of communication of things that we've been through, learning from somewhere else, because you can't grab something that you never had before. You can't grasp the thought of fixing something or having a skill of controlling yourself when you don't know how to control yourself. You don't know how to do it. It's brand new. When you're learning something brand new on how to improve yourself, you have to get that knowledge from somewhere else.
And I agree with that. That's why I like joining a lot of facilitations or workshops, or going to networking functions, because when you hear people start talking, even sometimes you say that you don't have it, sometimes you do. but we just neglect it.
Mhm.
Sometimes we push the knowledge in the corner and go with emotions rather than sense.
Mhm.
A lot of times we know what to do right, but we choose not to do it. And so joining with other like-minded people would help you elevate your mind and to change your mind. Yesterday I was speaking with a young lady who set up tea and talk.
Mhm.
She does it at a function. She have a function for it once monthly, and we were talking about it and talking about the importance of networking with especially women who are of like-mindedness but have struggles and difficulties along the way,
Mhm.
because it's not just about doing the work, but it's about the knowledge that we gain and the insights and the encouragement that we gain from having these talks with each other.
Yes.
So I do agree that while the information is there and while they're giving out the pointers for you to uplift and elevate and put yourself together and walk with a sense of gratitude, walk with a sense of confidence that even though I'm going through some hard times, I'm facing this breakup or whatever I'm going through, that I have everything inside of me that I need for this life. Now what I need to do is to connect that with some outsourcing, get some plugins from someone out there who
Yes.
is more encouraged than I am, who is more elevated in the business that you're taking on, or something. It's about connecting and making that significant, because a lot of times we just go out there and talk to the next person, but we don't.
Or stay to yourself
Right.
and don't experience any of that at all. You have to break yourself out. Got to get out of that shell. Got to get out and meet people, the right people. You have to get out of your comfortable zone. You got to get uncomfortable.
Right.
If you want
Right.
to evolve, that's just some things that you just have to do. Put your big drawers on, then and get out there.
And be
you
open to
know?
ask for help, because a lot of times, oh, I don't like to ask for help. I don't. And I'm learning that help does not only mean financial or whatever. Sometimes help is just an ear, someone who would listen, and then you vent and you clear out everything and you walk away with a sense of, okay, now I understand this. I
Yeah.
heard myself say it and now I understand. So
Finding a community and sister circle or whatever circle that is like-minded people for you and the things that you're going through, hands down. But one thing I know is that just for another advice is when you're going to your friends or your associates and you're you're pouring out your heart and you don't get the response that you're looking for, now you shut down again and you didn't get what you're looking for, you weren't fed the information that you needed. Sometimes it's best not to go to your what you think are your closest ones. They
yeah,
have their own stuff, they
yeah,
have their children, they have the things. That's why I recommend getting a coach, getting a mentor, getting a therapist, getting some type of counseling, going to someone who is a professional who can give you their time, their ear, their information that can really suit you for the need that you're looking for.
yes. And that coach will not solve your problem, but they will direct you in a path to clear the clutter, to get where you need to get, to focus on your goal and your aim, right?
You
That
have the key.
Yes, exactly. So they won't come in and give you the answers, but they'll use what you have to help you sort it out. And so get a coach. Here we have one right here.
Thank you.
It's like a lot of times we try to, one of the things that I'm grateful for, top on my gratitude list, is the trials that I've faced in the presence of my children. I've not always handled things the right way or the best way. I've handled them in that moment. I made the best decision that I thought I could have. Looking back, I would have changed some things. I would have changed a lot of things,
It's a
not
learning
maybe. Yeah.
experience.
But one of the things why I say I'm grateful for the trials that I went through with them, I'm very open. So there's few things that I hide from my children, but a lot of them that I've gone through or whatever happened to me in this life, they know, they're aware, they've seen, and why I say I'm grateful for it is because I see how it has strengthened them and also they have strengthened me in turn, because i've I've noticed that a lot of times we try to hide things from them, but then when I go through stuff and they are aware, I see that when they face similar trials, they are more able to handle it with a
Yes,
clear mind. It's
I've
not
learned
like
from
the
mine.
first time.
I must definitely learn from my children as well. You
Yeah.
can't use some, you know, adults sometimes forget that you can learn from the young ones.
Mhm.
You can most definitely learn from the young ones.
Mhm.
Patience,
Whew.
taking risks,
Yes.
being themselves. Yeah, I've learned a lot from my three girls. Absolutely. Shout out to you three girls. I love you dearly.
And that's so lovely that, I mean, you're raising your nieces, right?
Yes. Hmm.
And I that's just so touching, the way how you always talk about them,
Thank you.
include them in everything. And for me, it's having my kids. It's like, oh, the last time I got emotional about this topic, and I do.
Where's the tissue?
It's just that I'm so grateful to have them along with me on this journey. If it wasn't for them, maybe I would have gave up a long time ago. But I always go back to two things. I'm my mom's only child, and she deserves a lot better. She's a real good mom. We've had our ups and downs, but I have to say shout out to my mom, because I wouldn't trade her for the world. I mean, you know, life happens, but the thing is that we have to see that the people who are there in our lives that really contribute, it's not about just the position, because there's a lot of moms out there, a lot of children out there, but they don't give back, or they don't support you in the ways that you would want them to. And so with that, being an only child for my mom, and also having my kids
Hmm.
always pushed me to the top, always helped me up from getting up from the floor. And whatever the situation is, my firstborn son, who, my goodness, he's like the test of all tests for me with everything. Well, he's the first, so I went through everything with him first. And he's the most, what I would say, like, boisterous one.
Hmm.
He's the one that would talk back and express his concern, or even step in for the younger one. And so I always pray about our relationship, and as well as the younger two. But they are really good bad in between, the drive that pushed me to where I am today.
That's right. Any final goals or that you got going out for 2024 going into 2025?
Girl, 2025,
Let's
you
give
can.
him one good one. Let's end it with one good
A
one.
goal? Okay. You're putting me on the spot.
Ah!
Okay, 2025 plans, goals. Transitioning coordinator.
Transition coordinator.
Yes, transitioning coordinator. So that's about what I'm working on. That's what the Lord has placed on my heart. And I'm nervous because I'm not even like ready to talk about this, but it's something that the Lord has shown me that is needed in the field when patients go into palliative care and hospice. The families are distraught. They're feeling emotions everywhere, confusion, frustration, hurt, scared. And so a lot of times that causes a lot of chaos in families, and also lost time for the patients. And so this transition coaching coordinator will be able to help them to bridge the gap between the two, fulfilling the purpose of the patient, the person who is ill, and also what are their last wishes, what do they want to close before their time of passing, and also the family, to help them to capture some of the memories, capture some of the lost times, and remembering the essence of that person. And that will bring more calm and peace into the home, more love, and they'll have a time of appreciation for each other, so that when the time of transitioning comes, it will be a smoother flow for both parties.
Correct.
The ones who are here, they will still grieve, but their grief will be more of joy. They will have a lot of more memories flooding in during that time because of what just previously happened. and the person who is leaving will know that their family is left with their love and memory.
Beautiful.
So we're looking forward to that for
Yes.
2025.
All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate being here.
Yes.
We talked about some good things.
Yes. And I appreciate you being here. Also, you know, when Mel is back here too, maybe we might have a,
Have
you
a
know, right. So
What do you call it? Throuple? I
we
think it's called
just want to
throuple.
say thanks to everyone who joined us listening. I hope that you got something that will impact your life in a positive way today. And leave some comments or give your feedback or share a question or something on our live. We appreciate
Yes.
you and we want you to be a part of us. Near or far, remember that you're always welcome here at the Westside Incubator at Nevada Partners. We want to thank them for their time and their love that they give us every time we walk through that door,
Yes.
and also the support for entrepreneurship and resources that you can find through this place.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Coach Seclenda, for
Thank
being
you.
here with me.
Absolutely.
And with that, that's another week of Tea Time with Mel and Britt, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Gotta wrap that up, girl.
I actually really like that one. Be good